There are certain tissues in the body which are said to be rudimentary in function, non-performing assets, NPAs in the body. For example, appendix. Removal of such tissues will not have any consequence on the bodily function. Then there is a second category which perform some minor role in the day-to-day life, and bodily functions are influenced by these. For instance, oxytocin hormone in males, or let's say androgens in females, they do have some role to play physiologically, but it's a minor role, relatively minor. Then there is a third category. These glands and these hormones, they play a very major role in moment to moment and day to day physiological functions. For instance, thyroid gland. And yet, in their absence, the life can continue, the human can survive. So, major function performed, and yet in their absence or removal of those glands or tissues, the life can still go on. And then there is a fourth category which is said to be essential to life, which means they are performing major function, and not only that, their absence will cause the life to not go on, means they are absolutely essential to life and human cannot survive without their function. Let's look at some of the examples. We are talking about the endocrine glands, and therefore, what is your opinion about thyroid gland? Thyroid gland is not essential to life. Look, thyroid plays a very important role. The thyroid hormones play a very important role in minute to minute and day to day bodily functions. Yes, and their absence will have major consequence on the body functions. Yes, and yet if the thyroid gland is removed, life can still go on. And in that sense, thyroid is not essential to life. On the other hand, parathyroid gland and parathyroid hormone. Parathyroid glands and the parathyroid hormone, parathormone, it regulates serum calcium, and parathyroid hormone is essential to life. Why is that? Because serum calcium has to be maintained at a certain level in the body, in the plasma. Of course, if the plasma calcium or serum calcium drops below a certain level, 6 mg/%, there will be severe manifestations of tetany. There will be severe muscular spasms, muscular contractions, and laryngospasm will result in death of an individual. And in that sense, parathyroid gland is absolutely essential to life. So remember, thyroid not essential to life, parathyroid is essential to life. And when I say not essential to life, it does not mean it has no major role to play. Yes, it plays a very significant role in the bodily functions, but in its absence, the survival is still possible. Okay. Next, adrenal gland. You know, adrenal gland has two parts, adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. Adrenal cortex is essential to life, adrenal medulla is not essential to life. Adrenal cortex, why is it essential to life? It performs very important functions, particularly the mineralocorticoids, aldosterone. So, fluid and electrolyte balance. The body fluid volumes are regulated by the aldosterone, and in its absence, the life may not be possible. Therefore, adrenal cortex is essential to life. Adrenal medulla secretes catecholamines. But in the absence of adrenal medullary secretions, the life can still go on. There are sympathetic nerve endings which can perform that function even in the absence of adrenal medulla gland. So these are some of the examples. Talking about the stomach, what's your opinion about stomach? Is stomach essential to life? Okay, stomach is not essential to life except for its one function. Yes, you got it right. The function that is essential to life is intrinsic factor of Castle. Look, stomach performs many functions, motor functions, secretory functions. Even in the absence of all those functions, the life could have continued, but for this one function, intrinsic factor of Castle. This is secreted by the parietal cells and this is required for absorption of dietary vitamin B12. In the absence of B12, look, what is the function of B12? B12 is required for nuclear maturation. You know, it forms the precursors of the DNA, which will lead to nuclear formation, nuclear maturation. And in the absence of vitamin B12, therefore, nuclear maturation won't be possible, particularly in the rapidly differentiating tissues, and therefore, life will not be possible in the absence of vitamin B12, which is the function of intrinsic factor of Castle secreted by the stomach, absorption of vitamin B12. So, stomach mostly not essential to life except for this one particular function. Now, that brings me to my question. I am putting up a question to you and I'll answer it in the next video. What is the function of blood group antigens? You know, blood group antigens are present on the RBC membrane, and assuming that everything that is given in the body have some or the other role to play or some function to perform in the body. I asked this question particularly in the Viva to a student. What is the function of blood group antigens? And the answer, which was very much anticipated from a first year student, he said, so that we can divide the population in various groups, various blood groups. Well, that is what we are making use of, the presence of blood group antigens. They are there on the RBC membrane and they are different types in different human beings. So, we can categorize the human beings. That is the use made by us. But what is the function played by the, or role played or function performed by blood group antigens? What do they do in the body? Is there any function performed by them? I leave it to you this particular question. I'll answer this question in the next video. Keep thinking till then.